All right, episode 4 of the Players Only podcast. I'm Vince, and I'm here with the fantasy football guru, Austin.
Absolutely.
And yeah, what are we going to get started with? Sports?
Oh yeah, we'll dive right into sports. First, we're gonna start off with your least favorite, which is the NHL. Right now, you and I don't know anything about hockey, and so you're probably wondering why am I even gonna bring up the NHL? But the Vegas Golden Knights just won their first Stanley Cup, right? And for those of you who don't know, they've only been a team for 6 years, right? They've been a recent expansion team in Vegas. And a lot of people are actually really angry about this because, they got to kind of nitpick from other teams by taking certain players, and they've always been a contender for the last 6 years. Um, and they're saying, expansion teams have a higher percentage to make it to the not only the playoffs but to the finals and stuff. Now, making it through the playoffs is a whole different scenario, whether it's football, basketball, or even hockey, right? But not being hockey minds as we are, do you have any thoughts as far as expansion team kind of having a little bit of an edge, even when it comes to they're talking NBA is going to have a couple expansion teams here. NFL is going to be launching, overseas or whatnot in the next couple of years. In general,
Well, Houston was bad forever when they were an expansion team. I know.
yeah,
But otherwise, I don't know. I guess since I've been paying attention to sports, hasn't been too many expansion teams.
right.
Um, but yeah, the only time I watch hockey is during the Minnesota State tournament. For the people out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
That's
no,
the
for
hockey.
sure.
That's the best hockey.
But switching gears, NBA, right? We don't know all about with NHL, so no need to really kind of chill out on that too much. But the Denver Nuggets, they won their first championship since they have been a team for about like 40 something years. Um, your final thoughts as far as the finals win, Joker, anything like that?
Well, yeah. Again, last time we were filming this, they hadn't won yet. Now they did win the
Yep.
series. And I think the big story was like after the game, the players didn't seem all that excited or into it. Like you saw
Yep.
Joker, like wasn't that excited. And I feel like part of that was just beating a Miami team and AC 4-1, just kind of rolling
Yep.
over them. I feel like that they were happy to win, of course, but it would have felt better if it was Boston or
Yep.
Milwaukee, one of the top two teams in the East. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I feel like, not with the other part with the rest of the team, but especially with Joker. I mean, being overseas, granted his family was there, but he's got other stuff to worry about. Granted, he just wants to be back with his horse,
yeah,
which was the big meme. But it's like he's pretty close to war torn areas and stuff like that. This is just a game. It's a job to him.
hmm
Which is kind of cool to see an athlete say something like that, kind of be more down to earth rather than somebody like JJ, with the grills and the stupid sunglasses and stuff like that. He's that down to earth kind of athlete,
yeah,
which while he was getting memed and stuff everywhere, I think it's kind of a really cool thing to have. And if you need an athlete to be a role model, I feel like he's probably a really good example to have that kind of mentality. So
yeah.
I definitely can't hate it too much.
And yeah, I'd say in the NBA, yeah, a lot of the guys that come from Europe,
Mhm.
Luka doesn't have too big an ego. Giannis,
Yeah, no, definitely. But speaking of egos, uh, we got two people with some of the biggest egos to talk about. One of which is for our Minnesota Timberwolves, Carl Anthony Towns, who was former teammate, because I don't think Pat Bev is still on the team.
no,
Uh, but on Pat Bev's podcast, he said that when he retires, people are going to look back at his career and say that he changed the game. Now,
yeah,
you
yeah.
and people have been listening know I can't stand Cat. He's a baby, throws his hands in the air more than LeBron. um, he does nothing. As far as I'm concerned, he hasn't done anything close to even what Steph has done. Right? Steph has definitely changed the game.
Yeah.
LeBron has changed the game. MJ has changed the game. Um, what are your thoughts as far as what Cat said?
Yeah, it would have been nice maybe to see the whole clip because obviously just seeing him say that or that he said that was ridiculous. He wouldn't be remembered for that long if he retired right now, straight up.
Right.
Like
What has he
like
done?
yeah, he's not as consistent and even for Minnesota, like I don't know, Kevin Garnett, people still remember him and what he did. Cat isn't in that conversation.
And like with KG especially, man. I mean, growing up, I was in the KG area. That's when I actually liked basketball. You know, because you have like the attitude players, the hey, let's win, let's fight. You know, those
Yeah.
type of guys. Or, you know, when you're scrolling through TikTok with KG, have you ever seen that one fan who got kicked out of the stadium because he danced with his shirt off, and then when KG came back, the dude showed up. You know, Cat doesn't have those kind of moments. Cat doesn't have those kind of fans. As far as I'm concerned, most people in Minnesota want Cat gone.
Yeah.
So you can't be the saying that, hey, I changed the game. Your team doesn't even want you here. The fans don't want you here. Change the game maybe for the worse. Nobody
Exactly.
watches.
Exactly.
So, uh, just big egos, complete opposite of Joker. If Denver wants to trade straight up Cat and Joker, hey, hit us up.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime.
Right. But for the bigger ego's sake, Ja Morant. It's finally been released. He will be suspended for 25 games. And Ja and his following has said that the NBA is out to get him. You know, at the end of the day, Ja, he's really, really talented, right? You can't deny that he is talented, but he can't stay out of trouble. He has a bunch of followers, yes men, and his mom tried to get him in some big trouble a couple months back, stuff like that too. Your thoughts?
Well, first off, I'm glad you brought this up. I'll take a little victory lap. I don't remember if it was the first episode of this podcast or just a random stream, but I said it was going to be 20 to 30, I either said it was going to be 20 to 30 games or 20 to 25. So
Yep.
I was right. Um, but right, it's like I see the people saying too, like, oh, showing the gun on Instagram. Right, it's not illegal on the
Yep.
Instagram lives, but it's just a role model thing. Um, obviously you don't want kids trying to be like that. What kind of message
Yep.
is that sending? So that's really why they did that. And I don't know, like the first suspension is 8 games. This one's 25. It just if the NBA was out to get them, they would have done worse than 25 games.
Right. And like the whole thing with the gun is like you were warned, you were told not to do it. Um, you
It
know,
was
you've
it was
been
such a big deal. Like it was obvious not to do this again. Like
right.
and not a year later, it was like I don't know, a month or two later. Like come on.
Right. And he's how old? Like 23-ish? So,
So he was in the 2020 draft. I believe he's been in the NBA a few years, 3 or 4 years, 4 years, I think. So 23 would
ish.
be my guess. 24.
Yeah, so I mean, look, we're a couple years away from being 23-ish, but at that age, I mean, you know, common sense. Hey, you're making millions of dollars. You've been warned. You just got in trouble a couple months ago. You know, it's not like it's been 3 years or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
it's hey, you just got in trouble. Be on your best behavior. Finish out the year,
Mm.
because now you're gonna miss, you know, a third of next season. So it's
Exactly.
not really going to help you out now. It's not going to help you out when you want this massive contract or whatever when you're missing half the season. Um, and I mean, at the end of the day, too, it's a team game, so your team's going to look down at you too because hey, it's not football, right? There's not 52 people on your team. It's just a small amount of guys. Everybody knows each other, so it's just stupidity at the end of the day. So.
Very stupid. Yeah, I remember.
And
I remember a lot of people were saying that for a while. Oh, it's gonna be all year. Oh, it's gonna be half the season. No, I was right
no,
once again. 25
right.
games.
Because at the end of the day, too, right? It wasn't illegal. He
Right.
can do it. It's just stupid to do it. And you were warned, right? So it's not. If it's legal, then yeah, whole season. But it's a mentality thing.
If he really thinks
Yeah.
the NBA is out to get him too, he should appeal this.
Right. Yeah. That would be. Hey, that'd be good for the podcast because we're not going to talk NBA probably for another 2 months.
Right.
Or well, a little bit when the draft comes, and that's about it. So. Um, but yeah, speaking of something that we will be talking about all year, the good old NFL. Now, there's not really a whole lot to talk about because OTAs are over, so now we're just waiting on training camp, right? Um, but I have a little bit of a game for us to play.
All right.
It's not fantasy football related or anything like that. So, but it's just as simple as these are the top 10 free agents, and do you think they'll be picked up before the season starts? Spend as much time as you want on these people. If you don't even know them that well, you can move on. But first one, I think you have some thoughts are the number one free agent so far that is not on a team. DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver, just left the Cardinals.
Yeah, he'll get picked up.
Yeah.
Obviously, too talented. New New England. He'll even go back to Arizona. I can see before he just retires or sits out the entire season.
Right. Two, Dalvin Cook, running back, formerly with the
Not
Vikings.
gonna get picked up. Wants too much money. Easy.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, he does. That was definitely a lot of reports over this last week. He's like, yeah, I'll just sit on my 2 million and see who wants to pay me the most money. And I was like, oh, that's not gonna happen. All right, three, Davian Clowney, edge for the Browns.
Yeah, yeah. He'll get picked up just because that position's in need.
Yeah, and he's pretty talented too, right? I don't think he had
Yeah.
the greatest season last year. The Browns kind of sucked period last year anyway. I don't think he had the greatest season last year, but no,
Right.
he'll for sure get picked up.
Hmm.
Marcus Peters, cornerback, Ravens, formerly with the Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah. I think at some point there'll be an injury and he'll be picked up. He still got game.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was too many great cornerbacks in this last draft even. So
Right.
I'm sure there's some need. I know even Vikings need cornerbacks, but I doubt they could afford them anyway.
Hmm.
Five, Ronald Darby, cornerback, the Broncos.
Um. Yeah. I mean, even again, kind of the same thing. It's a position in need, and there'll be injuries.
Right.
There's really.
Yeah, I did see he didn't have a good season at all last year. No interceptions or anything like that. So it might be a while, but yeah, he'll get picked up.
Hmm.
Uh, I might pronounce this wrong, but whatever. Yannick Ngakwe, edge, Colts.
Yeah. He I believe was with the Vikings for a little bit, and then we traded him to Baltimore, and then he left Baltimore. Um,
Yeah, he's been kind of jumping around team to team.
yeah, now him, I thought I saw a video saying he was looking for big money. So that was like the one thing I was worried about.
Hmm.
I still think at some point he gets picked up.
Yeah,
Might not be until in the season. Yeah.
fair enough. 7, Ezekiel Elliott, running back, formerly with the Cowboys.
Yeah, but mid to late season, it's just some team will have a ton of injuries at running back, and they'll just need somebody.
Yeah. See, with for me, I think he'll be picked up here in the OTAs. I don't think he's asking that much, honestly. From what I've seen, I haven't seen anything that say that he's asking for a ton of money or anything. And most teams are kind of going the running back by committee
Mm.
option. So if they can get him cheap as a vet, if he can not get in trouble for a year, he'd be a good third down or we need a touchdown option. Um, especially
Yeah.
if the team is in need and there's the injuries pop up during training camp or something like that. So I think he'd be a good option, but I think a better option would be actually number 8, Kareem Hunt, running back, formerly with the Browns, still a free agent.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I mean, it's just kind of the same answer as Zeke. Mid to late season, injuries, but
Yeah.
the days of him even being a backup that gets a good amount of play time
Right,
is real limited unless there is a bunch of injuries.
right. Which sucks, because if he didn't have the off the field issues and then the injury, uh, I mean, we saw something crazy out of his rookie season, and then got cut short pretty quickly there, which really sucks. Number 9, Leonard Fournette, running back, formerly with the Bucks.
No, I think he's done. Like if you remember last training camp, came in way overweight.
Yep.
I think food and other things like that are a bigger priority, unfortunately.
He was having knee issues, kind of like Gurley, right?
Yeah.
If I remember.
And like
Yeah.
there's just been no noise about any team even looking at him, so it's hard to even take
Right.
him serious.
Yep. And then the last guy I got, Dalton Reisner, guard, formerly with the Broncos.
Cause linemen are in need. Yeah,
Yeah.
there'll be a training camp injury, and yeah, he'll get picked
Oh yeah,
up. Yeah.
definitely. Well, those are the top 10 free agents right now. So, something to keep an eye on, especially those running backs in terms of for fantasy purposes. But that's a whole different podcast that we can talk about them. That's all I got as far as sports
Yeah.
stuff. You have anything?
So there was a trade today in the NBA.
Oh,
So yeah, or I don't know if it's 100% official, but like basically it's Bradley Beal from Washington going to the Suns for Chris Paul and some more assets, but it's not clear what the other assets are.
hmm
Um, and yeah, I guess I'll just say I don't really like this trade for the Suns. Because yeah, I mean it's just kind of three scorers, three guys that do the same thing. Is long and
yeah,
short of it. So I don't really see him adding a whole lot. That Bradley Beal, I don't even know how much I believe in him to begin with.
sure.
Um, also, the best player on the Suns, like I see a lot of people talking about Kevin Durant. The best player, whether people like it or not, the best player on the Suns is Devin Booker right now. If you want to say prime Kevin Durant, sure, but right now
Sure.
it's Devin Booker. Kevin Durant, he's gonna be 35 before next season.
hmm
But yeah, long story short, I don't see it working out. Um, and then I guess the next thing people are talking about once Chris Paul is officially a Wizard because they're trying to tank, he'll probably get traded again to one of the Los Angeles teams or someone trying to compete.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm hoping the Lakers, but we'll see.
So, as somebody who has never heard of Bradley Beal, is he actually pretty good or is he mid?
Um, yeah, like he was the best player on the Wizards. Um,
That's not really saying a lot though.
like I compare him to like it just feels like when Kevin Love left the Timberwolves. Like you're the
Uh,
best player, you're the best player, the highest scorer, but always on a bad team.
right.
So I'm not gonna
And
get as
you,
hyped up as everybody.
right. You're the best player on a bad team, essentially.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I always thought like NBA trades for the most part are weird too, because it's always like some big names you'll flip flop, and then it'll come with some assets that are kind of no namers, and it's kind of like, well, they're no namers. How good are they to even be on a squad or
Yeah,
whatever?
and then yeah, and then those assets will get traded again, again, again.
Right.
Like Patrick Beverly
Yep.
when we traded him for Rudy Gobert, and then Utah
Yep.
traded him to the Lakers, and then I forget where, but the Lakers traded him away after that. It's
And
just
Pat Bev, he was in that like three-way trade when we got Connolly, I believe, too, right? When
yeah,
Pat went to the Lakers, and then we got Connolly from somewhere. I think maybe even the Lakers.
yeah. Utah was in there too. I just he's
Yep.
long story short, he's an example of an asset that's hopped around in one of those
Right.
trades. Yeah.
You had anything else in terms of sports?
No. I guess the John
All right.
Morant thing, I was gonna bring that up, but yeah, you got that.
Right. Boy, switching over to gaming, it's been kind of light for the most part. It's just a bunch of console war articles out there and stuff that I was reading up on, and that's really all anybody's been talking about. Besides that, Diablo came out last week or 2 weeks ago, and Megan Fox was like sending or on their YouTube channel for anybody that like makes it to level 100 or something like that in the first week was like calling out their names, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
um, kind of
Wonder
cringy,
wonder how
but
many hours you have to put in for level 100.
like 80. So, just a bunch of no lifers out there.
Yeah.
So,
So we're gonna see your name on that list.
no, haven't bought it. No plan on it, at least until it's on sale. It does look actually pretty cool, though. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't too crazy for the third one. Even though I do plan on kind of going back to it eventually to kind of like power through the boring stuff. Apparently, you have to like power through the boring stuff to get to the good stuff, which is kind of annoying, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, you said you had something for gaming though, right?
Well, you might have in your main topics, but I look at it as gaming. So Kick has really been popping off. The
Yep.
streaming site, they're advertising that these streamers are gonna get a higher percentage of revenue. XQC, do you know that name? I don't know. So he signed a deal with them to stream there, but like he's not exclusive. Like that's part of their big thing too, is you can be on other platforms at the same time.
Which is cool.
Um, but yeah, he was a really big name, and then there was some TikToks I didn't watch too closely, but like some streamers like Pokimane were like against it, just because they're Twitch nut huggers.
Right.
Um, but and then they were saying, oh, Kick's gonna die. But otherwise, yeah. Do you ever see Kick's tweets or any of their social media? I'm getting them all the time now. They're like they're like popping off constantly,
No,
roasting
I
Twitch
haven't
and stuff.
been getting anything, honestly. But I mean, I hope that they're gonna pop off. I hope they kind of stay because at least as of right now, right, this could blow up and they could turn into Twitch fast. But right now, as of right now, they seem to be really streamer friendly, and for the
Oh yeah,
most part, pretty open. I mean, granted, they're just getting started, but I believe when you and I were looking into this a little bit more, it's like former streamers or whatever just decided they would try putting together the site type of thing. So,
Yeah.
um, which is cool. So that means they know how to not, mess people around or whatever when it comes to their business, their kind of brand. They're just getting started. This could just blow up and they could just tank, or this could turn into something great. I do like the non-exclusivity of it, where you can go and if you want to stream on YouTube or Twitch or whatever you want to do. What would be kind of cool is you have like two tiers, right? Where you could be like, hey, you could be exclusive, just stream with us, and we'll give you more money, or you could choose the non-exclusivity thing, take 30% less or whatever, and then you could do whatever you want on other sites. Um, as far as like Pokimane, such a hypocrite. I mean, you post all the time on TikTok and other places and stuff like that too. You're getting your revenue stream from like 1,000 different places. You're just jealous
Right.
because they're not asking you at this point, and you probably already signed your contracts with Twitch, and you have nothing else you can do.
Right. They probably
uh,
went to her first and then, hey,
yeah.
yeah, I'm in a contract or, oh, no, you can't pay enough. Bye.
Right, and I
Um,
feel like she's kind of is losing it a little bit. I used to get her stuff all the time, especially on TikTok. I've gotten nothing for a while from her, her or even Valkyrie and stuff like that. So I think they're kind of just like losing their following a little bit.
yeah.
They're they're not as relevant as they were 2 years ago, especially.
Yeah, Valkyrie, I don't know as well, but Pokimane, she used to do Pokemon like way back in the day.
Yeah.
I didn't ever watch, but yeah, like way back when there was only like 10 people streaming on Twitch and stuff. That's part of the reason she's famous. She was
Right.
first
It's
to do
not. I
them.
don't know.
And then
It,
Fortnite obviously helped her out a lot. Blew up
right.
there.
Yeah, I've never really actually watched her. I'll just get her clips and stuff like that and
Yeah.
watch. And I mean, it's nothing special. She's just a hot girl on Twitch and
Yeah.
and whatever. So, I mean, now there's a million hot girls on Twitch and TikTok and everything else. So she's kind of lost her lost her little niche. So it is what it is. So
Yeah.
uh, Twitch is definitely not what it was when you and I and Jackson would watch it in Hamlin Cafeteria in Anderson.
Yeah.
So,
So, and we kind of brought this up when I was talking with Jackson. Oh, the golden age of Twitch, 2014, 2015. My man,
yep.
Mango. Back in those days, he would have his buddies over. They would get super drunk. Tuesday nights, that was their thing for whatever reason. Like guys would pass out, they drink a beer, and then they'd start the race in Mario Kart, crap like that. And
Yep.
now if anyone passes out or even pretends to, you're banned for a week. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that has happened to him. He pretended to pass out once and just dumb. I even
But-
had something like that happen to me back in 2018, believe it or not.
really?
Yeah, or I faked like throwing up and
Oh.
yeah, it was either a few days or a week on Twitch. It was something dumb. And
It
it
was
was like two people watching too, Galaxy and
oh.
Falcon. Like
when when we streamed when we were drinking back at your old place, that was
yeah,
that on Twitch or was that on YouTube or both?
I think I
Do you
did on.
remember?
Well, I know for sure Twitch,
Yep.
but it might have been both.
Might have been. That was fun. That was
Yeah.
fun.
Talking about that too. Um, you inspired like a whole branch of kids, on Discord and stuff that like looked up to us to drink Mountain Dew and vodka. By the way,
Ugh, that is, ugh,
Galaxies tried that, Falcon and Brianna. The three
gross.
that I know about.
Um, good thing we didn't stream I don't know how much you remember. Because I almost threw up. uh, back when you were living, well, when we were all living on campus, and we had I think it was Smash little tournament, and then the loser had to drink the Mountain Dew with salt and pepper.
That's a throwback.
Oh,
That's a
and
throwback.
it just hit the point because I just kept losing, and it's just, I can't, I'm gonna throw up. I was pretty close.
I was such a jerk the second time. You guys did like
Oh,
double or nothing or something, and like the second time while you guys were playing the game, I was putting more salt and pepper in there.
well, I just remember like the smell at one point made me throw throw up a
The
little bit in my
smell
mouth.
was
It's like, no,
horrible.
no, can't do it. And Jackson's like, no, you gotta drink it. It's like, no, it's not happening.
No, that was that was definitely
Oh,
wishy. But dude,
uh,
like I always talk about, like imagine if we had TikTok, YouTube Shorts back in those days, and we could just like
oh,
we could just clip the part of you, because I think like you drank like the first glass and then the second
uh,
one or
yep,
something. I like
like it
I
was
like
nothing.
really juiced it up with salt and pepper.
Oh, it's
Um,
bad.
yeah,
It was really bad.
yeah.
Yeah,
But oh
that
man,
that
again
double or
if
nothing was bad.
again like if we had shorts though and we could have got that in front of people, more people
Right.
could have enjoyed it.
That or even like the one clip I send you every now and then that I have on YouTube, unlisted of Delroy running into the bunk bed and
Yeah.
sliding in because he did that like 6 or 7 times, and I filmed the whole thing. I just have that one clip though now, but that'd be all over TikTok.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Back in the day. Um,
It would have been great.
yeah, someday, for the people watching, when we sit down with Jackson and we go
Yo,
through all our college stories,
oh,
the IES, or we'll just call it the summer class, freshman year,
yo,
sophomore year, when we sit down through everything, we'll definitely use that as B-roll.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That was oh. Yeah, we got there's some stories about
yeah.
Sacco and everything else.
But again, that'll be for the people watching. That'll be someday when Jackson's here. I got a nice Blue Yeti
Oh,
mic. You know, we can get real good audio and
yep.
go from there.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. Anyway, all right. Headlines. So I got uh I got four things. I think only two of which we're actually maybe three we're actually going to talk about. So I'll breeze over the one that while you and I aren't really going to care that much, it's important to at least say U.S. and China relations have been kind of unsteady over the last couple of years and stuff. So now apparently they're trying to have talks, and they have just begun in Beijing as of today, trying to repair our relationship. In a way, it's probably a good thing to do since we owe them trillions of dollars. Might want to repair those a little bit, but at the same time, they are a communist country, and yeah, you never know how things are like that are gonna go.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
anyway, if you really want to dive into that stuff, this is not the podcast for it. This is just headlines. We talk about the main little talking points, and then we move on. So but this one is kind of nuts. So, a submarine, I don't know if you've heard of this, was on a little bit of an expedition. It's like a 5-man crew. And they were going to go check out the Titanic wreck, the bottom of the ocean. Well, it's gone. They don't know where it is. So now a search and rescue is underway, and they have like literally like 72 hours to find it. Otherwise, there will be no more air in the submarine, and all those people will be dead. Uh, which is absolutely nuts. The submarine just stuck at the bottom of the ocean, essentially, and they have no idea where it is.
And did you say we have no way to contact them?
Yeah, they completely lost contact. They have no idea where the submarine is. nothing. It just they were going down to go and look at the wreck, and now they're just gone. So kind of nuts.
Were they around the Bermuda Triangle? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I don't think that's where the Titanic sank.
Maybe not. Probably not.
No, they're more closer to like the middle-ish of the ocean and stuff like that. So, but no, it's just kind of nuts. That's kind of it's a really big story, but it's also being kind of hidden a little bit. Like if you look it up, you'll be able to find it, but it's not one of the top headlines, and you would think it would be really important, but apparently not. But we'll save the fun one for last because I think you'll think it's funny. But starting in September, places like Ticketmaster, that's been under big controversy because they'll hide like fees and things like that and charge triple for tickets because of all their stupid fees and stuff. They officially have to be upfront with their pricing. Apparently, Biden made them promise uh, to be more upfront starting in September, as far as like saying, hey, these tickets are not actually $300. Instead, it's another 200 plus in fees, so it's really a $600 ticket. So apparently they have to actually start being upfront and not be hiding prices. Um, but even then, still, tickets are ridiculously high lately
Yeah, is that
to
because
anything.
like lots of people have been traveling, or
No,
like
so this is for like concert tickets and
oh
like shows. Like for example, uh, I was trying to get some tickets for Kim because she really wants to see Ed Sheeran. Uh, and they're like 300, 350-ish bucks each to get halfway decent seats. But then when you go to check out, it's not 300 or 350-ish per ticket. It's like $600 per ticket because they charge a little over half of the ticket price in addition as their fee to sell it to you. And then that's what caused like the Taylor Swift tickets to go from like $300 or whatever that you see, and then each is like $1,200 for a nosebleed ticket. So it's been a pretty big
wow.
controversy as far as people just pissed at the outrageous pricing, and all anybody can really do is just say, "Hey, be upfront." You can't really attack them apparently for price gouging, which is really stupid.
That's just
But
insane.
apparently,
Yeah.
well, the insane thing is when I was looking into it, the fees they aren't like standard, right? They reflect differently at the time of day, uh, the day of the week, and even the person that they're selling them to. If you've looked on your phone for like Ed Sheeran tickets, like scheduling and all that stuff, and they've seen that you've been looking into that type of stuff, they'll charge you more just because you're more prone to buy them rather than somebody that's like buying them like Ticketmaster. Okay, I'll see this concert, blah blah blah. That person will have lesser fees than the next. It's really weird. It's super predatory, and apparently they can't do anything about it, which I call BS. But
And that's just like how some sites they'll take like your phone data or personal data. Oh, you're on Apple, so you must have more money, so we're gonna raise the price
no,
of everything.
right. So uh, super fun times that we live in. That apparently we can't check CEOs and companies and stuff like that, and we just have to roll with the punches. But yeah, that's the world we live in.
Yep.
But this one I think is actually kind of fun. So in North Carolina, I guess every year they have what they call a blue marlin fishing tournament. For those of you that don't know, the blue marlins are like the gigantic fucking fish that have like the almost the swordfish part at the end. But they're massive, right? They get to be around the 400-ish pound mark. Um, apparently, so this gigantic tournament in North Carolina that a bunch of people go to, crazy cash prizes. Um, but a group went and they caught a 619-pound marlin. So way out of the ordinary, right?
Wow.
But that group was disqualified because as they were reeling it in, a shark or something was eating it a little bit. So the fish was partially mutilated before it got onto the boat. And apparently, in their rules, if the fish is uh, tampered with in any way before it hits the deck of the boat, you are disqualified. So they disqualified the entire team, and basically, the winning fish uh, was kicked out of the tournament. And so people are pissed, and definitely that group obviously is pissed. I think it was like a 10 grand prize that they missed out on, and then like the next level was 410 pounds. So they won by almost a little over 200 pounds, and yeah.
See, and that's just stupid. Like, I'm sure the purpose of that rule was so that people wouldn't take a fish, fill it with weights, which has happened at other fish tournaments in the news recently, and
Yep.
do something like that, or put some in there that'll make it heavier, like a shark
Right.
biting it. No, it's making it worse. Like
Right.
that's that right. The rule they gotta redefine it. It's being misused.
Right.
Long story
Yeah,
short.
it's kind of funny. I don't know if you and I talked about this too much, but when that weight thing happened was when like there was four other controversies for tournaments and stuff. Like they had a poker tournament, right? Um, bunch of guys around a table and one girl. Well, a girl wore like a fake bodysuit and it had like a fake boob hanging out. So it was distracting all the guys
Oh,
around the table closer to like the final hand because she pulled a fake boob out. And so all the guys couldn't focus. And so she ended up winning and it turned into this big controversy. Uh, or like the chess match where the winner apparently was wearing a vibrator up his ass.
yeah.
It was like the computer telling him what to do or whatever to win the tournament.
Yeah.
So it, it's funny when those controversies happen and then they don't necessarily get checked, but somebody just following the rules, a shark just happened to nibble at their fish and they get penalized. So
Right. And, and yeah, I mean, fishing is so luck too, and like I don't know the other games. Little, it's like skill, but it's still
yep.
fishing, right place, right time.
Mhm.
Um, I guess poker, you still got to get good hands.
Right. It's just
So
funny. You had to go that far to get a fake bodysuit to make it look like you have a boob hanging out. Just to
yeah,
win. But I mean, hey, if you're gonna win a couple $1 million, you got to go all out, I guess.
yeah.
So,
She wanted to be
um,
known as the poker guru.
but that's as far as I had. Those are the major headlines. There wasn't a whole lot going on, believe it or not, this week. Which I guess is in a way a good thing for the world, bad thing for us.
Yeah.
uh,
What about on TikTok or any social media? You be getting Robert F. Kennedy stuff.
no, I don't know what that is. Well, I know who that is, but I don't know
Like
what you mean.
he was on Joe Rogan's podcast recently, and like it's known he's like very like anti-vaccine, at least for COVID. I
Oh,
don't know about other ones, and like there's a whole bunch of people. Well, first there's some doctor well known that
hmm
was like, um, oh, misinformation, blah blah blah, and then all these
yep.
people, all these big names, Andrew Tate being one of them uh, offered to donate money to charity if this doctor came on a podcast with Robert Kennedy for
hmm
a debate. Um, so that's something I've kind of kept my eye on. It's like over $1 million as of yesterday. It's like 1.5 million that would go to charity if they came on and did that debate. And obviously if everyone held their word.
Right.
But then otherwise, kind of interesting too. He's even pro crypto. Um,
Oh, I
he,
did hear he's thinking about running for president, and people are like
yeah.
begging him not to.
Well, I think he made it official over the weekend that he is.
Oh, really?
In his speech,
Oh boy.
someone did a TikTok, a side by side, him and Elizabeth Warren talking about crypto, and it was just the funniest thing in the world. Just because obviously it made her sound really stupid.
Right.
Yeah, that was one I should have saved. But otherwise, not a super big thing in the news, but so Andrew Tate did his interview on Patrick Bet David PBD. On
Oh, yep.
Friday, they did an interview also with Tristan, the younger brother.
Hmm.
And listening to him on the ride up north last Friday, he's a lot more down to earth.
Yep.
Um, at least nowadays, um, listening to him, big time team player. He talked a lot about that.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean that was
I
about
always
it. Yeah.
I always think it's interesting with like Tristan. Like he's kind of the behind the scenes
Yep.
kind of guy, unless he needs to be up front in the way. It's always kind of interesting the way he talks. I always feel like he is the older brother, uh, just with kind of how he carries himself
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And usually, whenever he's talking, if he's not making fun of Andrew, he's saying something kind of wise or whatever. Like I don't know if you saw the clip about the chair when they while they were under house arrest and they're sitting in like the hot tub and Angie's like going on and on like, oh, yeah, I got millions of dollars, I got this big ass house, I got this jacuzzi and Bugattis and stuff. But all I want to do is sit in that chair, and they like pan it, and it's some broken down chair on like a balcony, and Tristan's like, "You dumbass! I want to go back to jail so bad, so I don't have to deal with you." I
Yeah.
always think that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
There was a real funny clip of Tristan too. I think he like faked it, but like he was calling Uber and he wanted to use his Rolls Royce. Supposedly they were like, no, that's too nice a car to use on Uber, and he was like, screw
Yep.
you. It's an old one, and I don't know. It's kind of some people don't talk about really, but like before, like last summer, everything kind of changed for those guys. Those guys used to just post like funny things. Like I remember
Yep.
last spring, 22, when they were first becoming famous. I don't know. It's just like funny stuff, and then it's like he got canceled, and now it's all serious. It's
Yep.
all politics. At least with Andrew.
Yep. Yeah.
It's
Right.
all Matrix this, Matrix that. So yeah.
Right. And for anybody that hates everything that they say, and I mean, like I get some of the stuff is stupid or whatever, but my favorite clip of it, and I'm sure you've seen it 1,000 times. I've seen it a couple. Is Andrew went to, I think it was even like Romania or something like that when they were still living in the UK, and he went to the casino and he won 12,000 of whatever the currency, and Andrew called Tristan, and Tristan's like, fantastic, because we still need to pay rent, insurance, the car bill, and the works.
Oh.
And Andrew gets home and they're like, all right, where's the money? And Andrew holds out his arm because he bought a super expensive watch. And Tristan's like, what the fuck? We have all these bills to pay. And Andrew's like, don't worry about it. We'll make more money. And then a couple of years or like a year or two ago, they were going through the mall and Andrew bought a new watch. And Andrew handed Tristan the old watch. And he's like, see, I told you. So it's
Oh.
kind of, yeah. So it's kind of a cool, like full circle moment. Like, hey, there's motivations, little stories out there that They're really cool and whatnot. And yeah, if you haven't seen that, I'll find that clip and send it to you because it'd be really cool even for TikTok and stuff like that. Uh, put out there.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess long story short with him, like you said, he's more down to earth, and he even describes himself as, he'll just be the background guy.
Yep.
He feels, yeah, if Andrew's better at something, uh, he'll just be in the background. Um, he's also, again, there's a whole lot of topics that he's just not as passionate about: religion,
Yep.
abortion, I don't know, just things like that. He was just kind of more mellow about. So yeah, just kind of weird. Talked a lot
Right.
about being a brother, working
Yep.
as a team. Yeah,
In a way, it's kind of like the perfect business partners. In a way, they know each other's strengths, and Tristan knows, hey, Andrew's gonna do all the talking, and for the most part, he knows his stuff. So I'm just let him do what he needs to do, and I'll run the business.
yeah,
so, uh, yeah, no, they got a good setup, and eventually the stuff will either pass or it won't, and we'll see where it goes.
yeah. He talked about smoking cigars too. Says he smokes 2 or 3 a day. How many cigars are you up to a day?
Zero. I do want to try it. I've only smoked one cigar ever, and it was kind of like one of those things at a wedding, just kind of pass it around. But apparently, it's really cool. Well, not smoking is cool type of thing, but like the flavor or whatever is like an addicting like guy thing or whatever. So I was always kind of curious about it, but we'll see.
No, you're just into
We'll see.
vapes.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'd rather go with something that looks cool rather than just a bunch of smoke that's gonna give me crazy cancer.
Yep. Yeah. Otherwise, I think that's it for today. Austin today did a rant about the new movie The Flash, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, go to him if you want to check that out on his TikTok or YouTube.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I can give too many other updates. We'll just keep doing this every week, some more fantasy football videos, and
Yep.
some more on YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah. Otherwise, only thing I'll say, and it's more just for a clip that we can have. If you want to join a fantasy football little tournament here for Dynasty Wise, go to our Discord and just let us know that you're interested. That way we can kind of get that ball rolling
Yeah,
together. Um, in general, Vince and I both have a ton of stuff planned. Even just before filming this podcast, we have like 6 other special kind of videos that we can do that we got to plan out a little bit, but that we have kind of situated. And obviously, him and we talk almost every single day about different ways to kind of evolve this
yeah,
and move things and different topics to bring into. That way, we're not just necessarily talking about the same things over and over. So there's definitely a lot to come for sure. So just keep an eye out on definitely our TikToks and then just this in general for regular podcast viewing. But definitely hop in the Discord. Let us know other things that you want to see, different topics you want us to kind of dive into. And if you want some more deep dive stories, we really only deep dived one or two things here and there. But uh, if you want us to deep dive more into certain things, let us know. Especially when it comes to the NBA, I like to go getting Vince going about the NBA. So, especially
yeah.
when I don't know necessarily what I'm talking about. So, uh, so yeah, let us know what you want to see and what you want to hear. So.
All right. Peace.